Channels Television's breaking news.
Welcome to Breaking News. This is the late night editions. I'm Patricia Liza, Sime Darby Plantations, which is planning to set up a plantations in Attapeu Province in Laos. These plantations will have a mainly Vietnamese managerial staff when will be provided by the Hong Gia Lai, the business partner, a diversified business group from Vietnam based in Bangkok, and the joint venture will headed by a Malaysians. In the other hand, the Commandia Act has the main labor local locations as auxiliaries. But the concern is there is no other Malaysians from the corporate office in key positions in the joint venture despite 55% stakes in the equity. Therefore, the clients worry that the top management in Kuala Lumpur have rushed into agreeing to set up the plantations in Laos. This completes a deep set in roots historicals in Vietnam's colonizations of convenience and Laos, which reached its peak in the 19th century under Minh, in which the imperial expressly states that Commandia and other non-Vietnam people are barbarians and therefore need to be civilized by the Vietnams. The subsequent French colonial administrations unfortunately continue such practice whereby the non-Vietnamese people are seen to be inferior than the Finns and Vietnamese people are the ones who set the colonial bureaucracy and runs the economy. In the 20th century, Indochina was embroiled in a better way led by Vietnam's communists, first against the French and then against Americans. Vietnam's troops were stationed in Cambodia and Laos until 1990. The more worry concerns is with the Cambodian as the Vietnam's minority in that country is often called by the derogative terms Yuans, which mean barbarians in Khmer. Besides that, deep state historical and cultural problems will spill over internal conflicts in the firms ultimately and adversely affect operations and long-term viability of the joint venture. The relationships between the Laotians and Vietnams are not too good either, and difference feeling are mostly during French colonial periods, where some element of the interiors were dissatisfied with French policy of the favoring that Vietnams in colonial bureaucracy. Is Sam Derby making the right decisions? Is it Sam Darby making the right choice and decisions to join the venture in these diversified business groups? Elizabeth, can you elaborate more in order to deal with this difficult issue that I had mentioned before? Thank you.
In this video, we will talk about the issue at stake, which we begin with ethical issue. There are few ethical issues may happen in Attapeu Province rubber plantation, which are corruption, illegal use of land, and environmental damages. In aspect of corruption, false and disputed claims are resolved through arbitration. But in practice, most settlements are reached through the payment of bribes to relevant officials. More than 3.7 million hectares of land have been handed to the private investor since 2000. This deal was made possible by corruption in the land of administration and among politicians. The polibitro members of Lao People's Revolutionary Party might be involved some corruption with Sime Darby top management. The next point is the illegal use of land. Some of the private investors who get the land from Laos government are not developing rubber into plantation properly. They are only focusing on the high quality of timber. Therefore, illegal logging is happened to export the high quality of timber out from Laos and not developing the rubber plantation. In order to develop new rubber plantation, deforestation may occur. It may cause extinction of the flora and fauna due to the use of pesticide, where this will also cause the damage of environmental. My friend Rani Mora will discuss more on the political issues.
Now, let's we talk about the political issue of Indochina Plantation. First, colonial government. The political management of Indochina was left to a series of governors. Paris sent more than 20 governors at Indochina between 1900 and 1955. Each had different attitude and approach. French colonial governor, official and bureaucrat had significant autonomy and authority, so often more power than they should have. This encouraged self-interest, corruption, venality, and heavy-handedness. The Nguyen Emperor remained as figurehead monarchs in Vietnam, but they exercised little political power. Second, divide and rule. To minimize local resistance, the French employed a divide and rule strategy under many Vietnam unity by playing local Mandarin community and religious groups against each other. The nation was cut into three separate pay, Tonkin in the north, Annam along the central coast, and Cochin China in the south. Each of these pay was administered separately. Under French colonial rule, there was no nation identity or authority in Vietnam. According to one French colonial edict, it was even illegal to use the name Vietnam. Last but not least, justification. To justify their imperialism, the French was developed their own principle called the civilizing mission. It was in effect a French form of English white man burden. French imperialists claimed it was their responsibility to colonize undeveloped regions in Africa and Asia, to introduce modern political ideas, social reform, industrial method, and new technology. Without European intervention, this place would remain backward, uncivilized, and impoverished.
Thank you, Rani. So, hello, my name is Joanne, and I will be talking about the environmental issues, specifically the market constraint, which can be at stake when it comes to the plantation venture in Indochina. So, when it comes to the market issues, there is no capital market in Laos. Laos is known as the poorest and aid-dependent country in the world. Thus, Laos have underdeveloped capital market. There is no easy way for the capital to flow out of the country to immediately have an impact on growth and investment through the corporate equity markets. The impacts are therefore entirely through the real economy, which are exports and reduction in the foreign direct investment. It is known that the government is struggling to balance out the budget due to the short spending money on the stimulus package. This causes instability from declining revenues and demands for more spending to avoid crisis impacts, without having the ability to borrow from the international markets. The government had responded to cut the public investment spending, which causes negative impact on future growth. Well, Jessica, do you mind elaborate more on the managerial issues regarding Indochina Plantation?
Hello everyone, my name is Jessica Joanna Anna Kimping and my metric number is 63991. Today, I would like to explain about the managerial of Indochina Plantations. The issue of Indochina Plantation is the top management of the Malaysian firm in KL have rushed into agreeing to set up the plantation in Laos. In addition, there's no other Malaysians from the corporate office in the key positions in the joint venture despite of 55% of equity. Next, the issue of the positions of the Malaysian firm in the joint venture. The Malaysian firms should have a part in management side, besides taking up the role of figurehead controls despite of 55% of equity. The firm should place some of key employees to ensure that the positions in the joint ventures is secure and the firm will be informed of what is happening in the management of the plantation should any unethical business operations occurs that could threaten the business firm. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica from Studio 5. Now, let's talk about a solution to overcome this issue. We believe that Sime Darby HR departments are able to craft a HR policy so that they are able to follow a guideline so that they are not able to abuse and overwork the comedian workers, and this way they also are not able to breach a human right at the same time. Laos may be poor, but this situation allowed the company to able to earn more through long labor costs. Low living costs will help the company to be more competitive with lower price. Laos may not be poor after all since they just opened a securities commission with a Laos stock exchange that currently has 5 companies. So Sime Darby can take this opportunity to invest in Laos. Moreover, Sime Darby holds 55% of the company's shares. Therefore, Sime Darby should hire a representative that can make decisions that able to see these things from the local points of view. Next solution is Sime Darby can joint venture with HAGL. This can ensure Sime Darby Plantation to a lower labor cost since Sime Darby will be more competitive with lower price. More than that, Sime Darby can be used the opportunity to build a business relationships and network with other foreigner countries such as HAGL to make a penetrating spread as Laos become more secure. Sime Darby should stay in Indochina venture due to the future prospects of the industry that could bring revenue for the company as benefit of venturing await problems to be solved in the Indochina plantations. The venture into Indochina is a wise decision. The initial conflict that occurs between Cambodia, Vietnamese and Laos should be alleviated in the company. The culture developed within the organization is essential as it creates a harmonious environment for people from different cultures to coexist. Thank you. Next to the second presenter.
Thank you, Christina, for the report. So, should Sime Darby take the risk of making a joint venture with Vietnam? Well, yes they should. And why? Joint ventures offer a native view of the land. Not only is there a reason for keeping a local on board as an investor, but they might just offer a great deal of support. Consider influence peddling and corruption avoidance. It is much easier for native Vietnamese to handle corrupt officials who want a part of their business than it is for a foreign investor to do so. It is also easier for an influential Vietnamese investor to navigate the government demands, and this offers an opportunity for making friends and influencing people on the ground. All activities handled better by local than a foreigner. Next, joint ventures offer a place for security. Unless there's a conflict between the partners in a joint venture, a Vietnamese face offers a better chance to handle disputes. Consider the historical bent of local courts in developing countries. They tend to favor locals over foreigners, and if you're a 100% foreign-owned company, you don't have a local face and you are a foreigner who will most likely lose in court. If you have a joint venture, you have a local side, and that means you have a much better chance to fare well in a court or dispute resolution venue. So that's it. Sime Darby should make a joint ventures with Vietnam, with all these benefits, and there will be success in making a business with Vietnam. That's all for breaking news. Thank you.